Welcome to 8.2's Math Moment. Today in 6th grade, students looked at dot plots and histograms. For example 1, it says Carla opened a snow cone business. The table shows her first 6 days of business. Create a histogram and answer the question. So looking at the table, we can see that we have her first 6 days and how many snow cones she sold each day of those first 6 days of business. Now we need to think about creating a histogram based upon this. Well, the first thing I need to include is I need to include my days and the number of snow cones that she sold. So I'm going to go ahead and make my days down here. And I'm just going to label it day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and day 6. Alright, now I need to look at what I have here for my numbers, and I notice I've got a pretty wide range of numbers. I've got anywhere from about 8 all the way up to 45. Looking at my graph, I can already tell I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, so going by ones isn't going to make sense. Even 5s is going to be too small. So looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and count by 10s. This is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. I'm going to go ahead and label this snow cones. Now, the next thing I have to do is I just need to go ahead and graph what I have here in my histogram. Looking at this, for day 1, we had 45. That's going to put me right about here, halfway between 40 and 50. Then I'm going to do day 2, which was about 8, slightly less than 10. Then day 3 is going to be 13. That's going to be slightly more than 10. And then I've got 17. I'm going to put close to the top with our 20. Then I've got 28. Go ahead and graph almost up to the 30, but not quite. And then day 6 is going to be 30. I'm going to graph all the way up to the 30. Alright, so then I've made my histogram based upon the information that I have from my table. The next question says, based upon this data, what would be a reasonable prediction for day 7? Why? Well, as we look at our table and as we look at our graph, we can see some definite trends in our data. We had a really high day on day 1, which would make sense, the opening of a business. Then our data kind of goes down, but it's gradually increasing. So if I was going to guess day 7, I would guess if I was going to chart something, probably somewhere in here. We're not having a huge gain, a dramatic increase every single day, but I'd probably guess somewhere maybe around 32, 33 would be a good guess. So I'm going to say 32 snow cones, and I would just write based upon the upward trend of the graph. If you have any questions about today's lesson, make sure you see your math teacher.